Today I want to discuss one of the important functions, how to use a neural network to filter entry points, select specific market phases, and determine when it is appropriate to enter the market and when it is not. This function was created so that both beginners and professionals can use cluster data calculations to filter their entry points and find the best zones for buying and selling specifically in the markets. And the problem is that many beginners and even professionals often want to be in the market as much as possible, which leads to a misunderstanding of what trading really is. Trading is more about searching for the best entry point, the best setup, and this can take a significant amount of time. That is, most of the time, a trader is sitting on the sidelines and analyzing, trying to find a more advantageous entry point and gain a better edge over other players and market participants. And the best way to do this is by using a wide range of different tools that can filter out false signals or questionable moments in the market. Here's one example. Today, I wanted to enter a trade on the USD JPY pair, buying from the support level. The price bounced off and I started making inquiries with the intention to buy. So, my first request to the neural network was to analyze the 4-hour chart, which is a medium-term movement, and the neural network predicted this kind of price movement, that the price should sharply go up and then enter a sort of small consolidation or flat movement, which most often means entering an accumulation zone. But when it came to calculating the trend, meaning the clear direction of a pronounced movement on the chart itself, the neural network gave us a neutral result. That is, in a neutral zone, it's best either not to open any trades at all during consolidation or in a flat market when the market is undecided, or to open trades from the key levels of the flat. So for example, let's say we've reached this kind of flat, so to speak, situation where the market is just moving sideways from one point to another. Sometimes there are false breakouts and it returns to the same point. Here, of course, you should conditionally trade from the levels, buying or selling, but it's risky because at any moment, a sharp impulse can occur from this large accumulation and trading zone. And no one can tell you where this impulse will go until the market finally makes up its mind, or until some fundamental factors come out that could move the price. So that's why I went on to request a forecast and analysis from the neural network on a higher time frame. And once again, the neural network calculated an upward price movement for us on the daily chart, but it also pointed out that our primary filter did not pass. We don't have a clear trend direction, there's no signal or established movement, and so according to the neural network's logic, it's best not to enter the market. And I also requested it on the hourly chart. And here as well, the neural network indicated to me that there is a high probability that the price will go up. But again, we still don't have a justified trend direction. In other words, we have certain trading zones where the price just moves back and forth and doesn't leave the channel. That is, the channel is formed and the price can't break out of it. In other words, the exact trend direction hasn't been determined, so it's best to refrain from entering the market. Or if you really want to enter, then do so from the lower boundaries of this flat or sell from the upper boundaries. That is, buy from the lower boundary, sell from the upper boundary, and take your profit within the channel. Don't forget about risk management. Always use strict stop losses and of course move your trades to break even. Because in these kinds of movements, there can definitely be pronounced impulsive moves that will either return the price to the channel or cause it to break out of the channel. When there's a breakout from the channel, the price can surge impulsively and go quite high. But this most often happens when there is some kind of fundamental factor that can move the price. So, in what cases do we enter? In those cases when the neural network has calculated block trades for us. For example, let's take the trade I entered on the euro-dollar pair. For the euro-dollar, the neural network immediately calculated the entry point, stop loss and take profit for me, along with a projected price movement model. But the only thing that concerned me was that the probability of success was 50%. The volatility is slightly above average, and the stop loss to take profit ratio is calculated as 1 to 2. Well, actually, a ratio of 1.5 is already good enough to work with. I entered with a tight stop loss and then quickly moved the trade to break even. So, my entry point was right here, and we exited on the impulse, and I immediately moved the trade to break even. That's why right now we're up $240. Overall, it's an excellent profit and can be considered a good setup. Here we can notice this. And now we wait for the full take profit to be reached, and then we'll continue managing the position, our position. So the first thing you need to do is avoid questionable trades where the price is either in a flat situation, where there's an accumulation zone, where the market hasn't decided yet, and where you have no idea which way to go. And in general, even the neural network itself doesn't understand, despite having a huge amount of data that it uses to make decisions and calculations for you. So we avoid those and look only for trades that will be profitable in terms of risk to reward ratio. Above 3 is excellent. Below 3, it's better either not to consider it or to enter with a small lot. And of course, always cut your losses and consider, well, here we have a zone of uncertainty. The volumes show that overall the price can simply go in either direction, so we simply do not consider this. So I think everything is clear. We only consider positions with a favorable risk to reward ratio and skip all trades that the neural network, the trade block, does not show us. Use technology, subscribe to our channel, and you'll always be one step ahead of the market.